stop scrolling. The director just called cut on the scene you were living, and he's about to give you direction that will change your entire story arc. Right now, in this exact moment, Heaven's cinematography department is adjusting the lighting around your life. And this isn't the algorithms bringing you here. This is destiny pressing pause on everything else so you can hear what needs to be heard. Can you feel it? That subtle shift in the atmosphere, like the moment before action is called on a movie set? That's not your imagination. That's the Holy Spirit creating the perfect conditions for what happens next. Every breath you've taken today, every decision that led you to this moment, every seemingly coincidental click has been orchestrated by the one who wrote your story before time began. This moment isn't random. This moment is marked. This moment carries weight that your spirit recognizes, even if your mind doesn't fully understand yet. You've been living like you're an extra in someone else's movie, haven't you? Playing small roles, standing in the background, watching other people get the starring parts while you wonder if you'll ever step into the spotlight of your own purpose. You've been rehearsing the same tired lines, showing up to the same draining scenes, wondering when someone will finally see you for who you really are. But I need you to understand something that will shatter every limiting belief you've been carrying. You are not the supporting character in your own life story. The camera has been following you this entire time. Every struggle you faced, every tear you've cried in private, every moment you thought you were invisible. It was all being filmed for the most incredible comeback story Heaven has ever produced. The painful scenes weren't punishment, they were character development. The closed doors weren't rejection, they were redirection, protecting you from storylines that would have destroyed your character arc. The delays weren't denial, they were divine timing, coordinating your breakthrough with Heaven's perfect production schedule. I see you in those 3 a.m. scenes where your pillow becomes the only witness to your authentic self. Those raw, unfiltered moments when the mask comes off and you're just a human being desperate for hope to break through the darkness. I watch you rehearse conversations you'll never have, practice apologies for mistakes you didn't make, and scroll through social media, comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's highlight reel. Wide shot of your bedroom, close up on your face, illuminated by phone light. Over the shoulder angle, showing endless scrolling. Bird's eye view of you, small and alone in the frame of your own life. The performance you give each morning, applying that smile like professional makeup, summoning strength from reserves you're not sure exist anymore. I see it all. And I'm not disappointed in your acting. I'm proud of your survival. But beloved, it's time to stop performing and start living authentically in the role I created specifically for you. That job you show up to where you paste on competence while your world crumbles backstage. Those family dinners where everyone's physically present but emotionally absent, each person playing their assigned role in a script no one actually wrote. The bathroom mirror scenes where you practice being okay, where you rehearse normal, where you tell yourself you can make it through one more day. I've been watching you carry this weight. And what you see as barely surviving, I see as extraordinary endurance. What you call weakness, I call strength under impossible pressure. What you think is failing, I recognize as fighting battles no one else can see. You've been method acting your way through pain, and the performance has been so convincing that even you've started to believe the character you're playing is who you really are. But let me pull back the curtain on something you need to see. While you were scrolling just now, while you were moving through your day on autopilot, while you were managing the chaos and juggling responsibilities and trying to keep your head above water, I was in the director's chair, watching your every move with tears in my eyes. Not tears of disappointment, but tears of a father who sees his child struggling under a burden they were never meant to carry alone. I see those midnight moments when anxiety plays the leading role and you can't shut off your mind. The endless loop of what-ifs and if-onlys, the replaying of conversations, the mental preparation for disasters that haven't happened and probably never will. I see you lying there with your eyes wide open, the ceiling becoming your unwilling co-star in scenes that stretch for hours. You think you're just anxious. You think you're just overthinking. But I see the spiritual warfare happening around you. The way the enemy sends disruptions into your thoughts, fills your mind with noise, makes your mental space feel like a battlefield. I see you in those social media comparison scenes where everyone else's life looks like a blockbuster and yours feels like a rough cut that never made it past the editing room. When you watch other success stories and wonder if you're even in the same genre. When you almost post your real thoughts, then delete and post something safe instead. When you scroll through highlight reels while your own story feels like deleted scenes that no one will ever see. That hollow feeling in your chest isn't just insecurity. It's your spirit crying out for authentic connection in a world of carefully curated performances. The silent scenes in your most important relationships, where words hang unspoken in the air like stage fog. The conversations you need to have, but keep postponing because you're not sure you can handle one more emotional scene. The love stories that ended with credits rolling too soon, leaving you in a dark theater, wondering what went wrong with the plot. The friendships that feel more like acting than authentic connection, where you're always playing the role of the one who has it together, while inside you're falling apart. I've watched you carry this. I've watched you sit at your kitchen table in the quiet morning light, coffee growing cold in your hands, feeling the weight of yesterday's failures pressing against your chest like stones. In those ordinary moments that feel so heavy, I've been right there. Not as a distant director shouting instructions from behind a camera, but as a presence so close you could feel the warmth if you stopped long enough to notice, a whisper that says, "You are not forgotten." Even when you feel most alone, let me take you behind the scenes of your life story, because there's footage you haven't seen yet. There are angles you've missed. There are perspectives that will change everything about how you view your own narrative. When you were 5 years old and someone first told you that dreams were for other people, I was there. When you were 12 and you learned that disappointment was safer than hope, I watched your heart make that devastating decision. When you were 21 and you decided that ordinary was better than risking extraordinary, I saw the moment your spirit chose survival over thriving. But here's what you didn't see. In every single one of those scenes, I was writing a different script. The rejection email you got last month that sent you spiraling into self-doubt, that was me protecting you from a company that's about to implode, from a toxic environment that would have crushed your spirit, from a role that would have taken you further from your purpose. The relationship that ended and left you questioning your worth. I was saving you from someone who couldn't see your value, shielding you from years of settling, redirecting you toward a love story that will feel like coming home. The financial struggle that keeps you up at night, calculating and recalculating. I'm teaching you to trust a provider who sees beyond your spreadsheets, preparing you to handle abundance without losing yourself in it. I see your morning struggle from multiple angles. Wide shot of you sitting on the edge of your bed, dreading the day ahead. Close-up of your hands shaking as you reach for your phone. Over-the-shoulder shot of you scrolling through messages you don't have energy to answer. Bird's-eye view of the weight of the world pressing down on your shoulders. And in every angle, every frame, every shot, I see a warrior who keeps getting up even when staying down would be easier. I see resilience you don't give yourself credit for. I see courage wrapped in exhaustion. I see a heart that refuses to quit even when quitting would make perfect sense. You think you auditioned for the wrong role, but I cast you perfectly for this part. Every character trait you thought was a flaw is actually exactly what this role requires. Your sensitivity. That's not weakness. That's your superpower to feel the pain of others and bring healing. Your overthinking. That's not a defect. That's the depth of mind I gave you to solve problems others can't even see. Your past mistakes. Those aren't disqualifications. They're credentials for the ministry of restoration I'm preparing you for. You're not miscast. Your method acting your purpose. And the performance is about to shift into an entirely new genre. Let me show you something in slow motion, because you moved through it so fast, you missed the significance. That moment 3 weeks ago, when you almost gave up. Let's replay it frame by frame. Frame 1 shows your face, as hope crumbled the exact second you felt the dream dying. Frame 2 captures your heart, choosing to shut down rather than feel the pain. Frame 3 reveals your spirit, making a decision to survive instead of thrive. But here's frame 4 that you didn't see. My hand reaching out, my presence surrounding you, my voice whispering, keep going. Even when you couldn't hear it. And frame 5 shows something even more powerful. You took another breath. You got up the next day. You kept moving even when everything in you wanted to stop. That wasn't just you. That was me and you, carrying you through a scene that would have broken most people. I know you better than you know yourself. And I understand why you've been feeling the way you do. I understand why your heart has been tired, why your spirit has been quiet, why your strength has been thin, why your emotions have felt muted, why everything inside you has felt heavier than usual. I see the mental weight pressing down on you day after day, the overwhelming thoughts that loop in your mind, the worries that pile up until breathing feels like work, the pressure you carry to stay afloat even when your spirit is sinking, the anxiety that keeps you up at night, the fear of the unknown, the confusion that clouds your decisions, the way your mind became a battlefield of doubts, old wounds, insecurities, unanswered questions, and quiet fears. And as I look at you now, I am not frustrated with your weakness. I am not disappointed in your exhaustion. I am not surprised by your numbness. I am not angered by your moments of drifting. I am moved by your pain. I am touched by your honesty. I am drawn by your vulnerability. And I am here, closer than you think, nearer than your breath, watching over you in ways you cannot see, and holding you with a love you cannot comprehend. I saw your heartbreak, the kind that cannot be explained with simple words, the kind that settles deep in your chest and changes the way you breathe, the kind that makes you question your worth, your future, your ability to trust, your ability to love, the kind that left you staring into the dark, wondering why something so precious had to shatter in your hands. The way it left you replaying memories, not because you wanted to, but because your heart didn't know how to let go of what it once held so tightly. I was there in the editing room of your emotions, watching your heart crack in places you tried so hard to keep whole, catching every piece as it fell. I saw your loneliness, the heavy silence surrounding you, even when you were near people, the sense of being unseen, the ache of feeling disconnected, overlooked, left out, forgotten. The way you went to bed with a hollow feeling inside your chest because you didn't know who to turn to, or whether anyone even noticed how deeply you were hurting. How often you longed for someone to simply sit beside you without needing explanations. Someone to hold your pain with you instead of letting you carry it alone. Someone who would hear the words behind your silence. Someone who could sense the trembling inside you without being told. And it grieved me that you felt so alone in a world full of people. I saw the nights you cried in silence. Those moments when your tears soaked into the pillow while your body shook with emotions you didn't have the strength to express aloud. The nights you cried quietly so no one would hear. The nights you cried because pain had nowhere else to go. The nights when you curled yourself into the smallest version of who you are just to keep yourself from falling apart completely. The nights when sleep refused to come because your heart was too heavy. The nights when you couldn't stop thinking about everything that went wrong, everything you lost, everything you feared. The nights when you whispered my name, not as a prayer, but as a plea, barely holding yourself together. Even in that silence, I was beside you, my hand resting over your heart, catching each tear before it reached the ground. I saw how you carried pain without support, how you held your emotions inside because you didn't want to burden anyone, because you didn't want to appear weak, because you didn't want to explain something that hurt too deeply to put into words. How you pushed through your days with a smile that hid your devastation. How you carried the weight of old wounds and new disappointments on your back, while convincing the world you were okay. How you made space for others, even when no one made space for you. How you kept showing up even when your spirit was crying out for someone to show up for you. You have been your own comfort, your own support, your own motivator, your own healer for far too long. And I want you to know that I have been watching this burden you never should have carried alone. I saw the moments when you felt like giving up, not in dramatic ways, but in quiet ways. When you felt too tired to keep fighting. When you wondered if you had anything left inside you. When life felt like a constant uphill climb, and you didn't know how much longer you could keep walking. When you sat in your room and felt the heaviness in your chest. When you lost interest in things that once brought joy. When you didn't have the energy to care anymore. When you no longer felt connected to yourself. When you questioned your purpose. When you wondered if all your efforts were pointless. When you whispered to yourself, I can't do this anymore, yet still found a way to get up the next day, even though everything in you wanted to stay in bed and disappear. I saw those moments when your strength was slipping away, and my heart ached for you because I never meant for you to walk through that kind of darkness alone. I saw when you pretended to be strong, the way you held your shoulders back even when your heart was falling apart, the way you laughed even when you felt numb inside, the way you helped others even when you needed help the most, the way you pushed yourself to keep functioning even when your spirit was begging for rest, the way you hid your tears until you were alone, the way you said, I'm fine out of habit, out of protection, out of fear that no one would understand the truth. And I want you to know that I never mistook your strength for not needing me. I saw the truth behind the mask every single time. All of these hidden battles you carry with such quiet courage move me deeply. I have never looked at your pain with disappointment. I have only looked at you with love. I have never blamed you for the moments you broke down. I held you in them. I have never judged you for being overwhelmed. I stood beside you in the overwhelm. I have never rolled my eyes at your struggles. I have wept with you. I have never turned away when you were hurting. I moved closer. Now let me show you what's happening behind the scenes, in the spiritual realm you cannot see with natural eyes. There has been a war around your life, battles raging in silence while you thought you were simply tired, confused, stuck, or losing direction. What you felt as emotional weight was often spiritual interference. What you called bad timing was often the enemy pushing against the alignment meant for you. What you thought was your own weakness was often the pressure of forces trying to keep you from stepping into what I prepared for you. I saw every moment the enemy tried to distract you, sending disruptions into your thoughts, filling your mind with noise, placing people or situations in your path to pull your attention away from me, making your mind wander when your heart was trying to focus, stirring unnecessary chaos around you so you would feel too overwhelmed to pray, too drained to seek clarity, too tired to open your spirit. And I stepped in again and again to silence what was coming against you, even when you didn't realize it was an attack. I saw when the enemy tried to confuse you, whispering lies into your thoughts, making you doubt yourself, making you question your worth, making you second-guess your intuition, clouding your judgment, twisting your emotions until you didn't know what to feel or what to trust, stirring fear in the quiet moments so you would think you were going backward when you were actually moving forward, creating circumstances that made you doubt my presence, my love, and my guidance. But even then, I shielded your mind from sinking into darkness deeper than you could handle. I guarded your thoughts. I kept you from losing the truth of who you are. The reason this moment feels so urgent is because the final act of your current season is coming to a close, and the opening scene of your breakthrough is about to begin. That's why I interrupted your scrolling. That's why I stopped you in your tracks. That's why your spirit is responding right now, even if your mind is still catching up. Heaven has been in post-production with your story, taking all the raw footage of your pain, all the difficult scenes, all the moments that felt like mistakes, and editing them into a masterpiece that will inspire millions. What looked like random chaos in your life was actually carefully orchestrated cinematography. The dark scenes weren't punishment, they were contrast, making the bright moments more brilliant. You can't have a powerful story without shadows to define the light. Every villain you faced was developing your character. Every plot twist was preparing you for the climax. Every painful scene was necessary footage for the testimony that's coming. The breakthrough I'm about to release in your life isn't just for you. It's for everyone who will watch your story unfold and find hope for their own. Your mess is becoming your message. Your test is becoming your testimony. Your pain is becoming your platform. And this moment right now, this interruption, this urgent call to pause and pay attention, this is the beginning of Act 3, where everything changes. I need you to understand that timing matters in the spiritual realm. Moments carry purpose. This moment has been marked for your heart. Heaven aligned this message and placed it directly in front of you because the next steps of your life are tied to what I'm revealing right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because windows of opportunity open and close. And this one is open specifically for you in this exact moment. You've been asking for signs. You've been asking for clarity. You've been asking for direction. You've been asking for reassurance. You've been asking for something to show you that I am near, that I am listening, that I am guiding, that I have not forgotten you. This is that something. This moment you're in right now, reading these words, feeling your heart respond, sensing the weight and importance of what's happening. This is the answer to prayers you've been crying out for weeks. Your awareness matters right now. Your focus matters. Your willingness to listen matters because something is shifting in your life. Something is aligning. Something is unlocking. Something has reached the point where you need to know what I'm about to do. The doors that have been closed are about to swing open. The relationships that have felt stuck are about to experience breakthrough. The confusion that has clouded your vision is about to lift. The financial pressure that has been suffocating you is about to ease. The healing you've been desperate for is about to manifest. But you have to be present for this moment. You can't scroll past it. You can't tell yourself you'll come back to it later. You can't let your mind drift or distractions steal what I'm placing in front of you. This is the scene where everything pivots. This is the moment the protagonist finally understands their power. This is where the transformation begins. I am speaking urgently, but my urgency is wrapped in love. I am speaking strongly, but my strength is wrapped around your heart. I am speaking with power, but that power is meant to lift you, not scare you. I want you to feel the seriousness in my voice, but I want you to feel my tenderness inside it too. I am not shouting at you. I am calling out to you with depth, with warmth, with a love that refuses to let you miss what is meant to elevate your life. The pain in your back that keeps you awake? Watch how it begins to ease as you release the burden of unforgiveness you've been carrying. The headaches that have been your constant companion will fade as the mental torment ends. The anxiety that grips your chest will loosen as you surrender control and trust my direction. The depression that has colored everything gray will lift as light breaks through. The insomnia that steals your rest will end as peace settles over your mind. I am not just speaking metaphorically. I am speaking specifically about the physical manifestations of spiritual battles. And I am telling you that relief is coming. You may have walked through battles without human support, but you never walked through a single one without me. I understand you more deeply than you understand yourself. I see the wounds beneath your silence. I see the strength beneath your exhaustion. I see the hope beneath your discouragement. I see the softness you protect so fiercely. I see the courage you don't give yourself credit for. I see the resilience you built out of survival. I see the longing you hide behind your responsibilities. And I want you to know that none of your pain has been wasted. None of your tears have been ignored. None of your silent battles have been overlooked. My love for you hasn't wavered for a single moment, not even in your darkest nights. Not even when you doubted me. Not even when you felt completely alone. I have been with you through every storm, every breakdown, every silent cry. And I will stay with you until every wound is healed and every heaviness is lifted. This message was not delivered randomly. You did not stumble on this by accident. I placed this here. I pulled you here. I arranged this moment with intention because your spirit needed intervention. And now that you're here, now that you've read this far, now that your heart is responding to truth your spirit recognizes, I need you to make a choice. This is your moment to step out of the audience and onto the stage of your own life. This is where you stop being a passive observer and become an active participant in your breakthrough. The camera is on you. The lighting is perfect. The script has been written. Your name is on the call sheet. And I, the director who has been orchestrating every scene of your life with perfect precision and unfailing love, I am calling action. Your next chapter begins right now. and it's going to be more beautiful than anything you've experienced before.